we're talking agriculture and science, if you will, because Limpopo this week was hosting the G20 meeting of agricultural chief scientists, MAX, they call it, in that province. And, some of the issues that were under the radar, food systems to climate change, also, top experts from G20 nations uniting to, I suppose, among others, look into issues of farming and nutrition challenges. So, yeah, indeed, it was a meeting of science and agriculture, looking into the future, I suppose. Dr. Lita Maginga is the president and CEO of the Agricultural Research Council, joining us on the line to tell us about this. Doc, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon, Thabiso, and good afternoon to the listeners.
Yeah, so this was a marriage between science and agriculture. Am I correct, Doc?
Indeed. So the meeting of agricultural chief scientists really is about the issues that you have raised, but the main thing being, how do we then leverage science to resolve some of these challenges that we have identified and decided that within South Africa's presidency, we want to table them into the group of chief agricultural scientists.
Yeah.
These experts that are coming from G20 member countries within the agriculture track. And that's what the meeting was about.
Yeah.
And of course, the main thing was then to say within each of these specific themes and topics that we have identified, what sort of collective actions, are we going to come up with in order to support the work of the track and continue to contribute towards the agricultural working group. And towards the ministers' meeting that is going to take place in September.
So just in simple terms, I mean, what kind of science is relevant to the agriculture? Maybe just one or two examples on the basis of what was discussed, so that at least we are on the same wavelength in terms of understanding.
Absolutely. So one, I would say the first. So there is no particular order, but generally the top thematic priority is really on the transformation of our agriculture and food systems. And what we're talking about here is how do we transform the way we produce food, how we process food, how it's distributed, all the way to consumption. There is an understanding that there is a lot of space for bringing in science to deal with issues such as climate change, the biodiversity loss that we're experiencing, including issues such as water scarcity, etc., in order to address global food insecurity and nutrition. So transformation of agriculture and food systems has been identified as one of the areas that we can actually, make a difference in.
I'm also told that during this meeting, there was a 2025 communique, which was officially transitioned from a draft to a declaration, which was endorsed by all G20 member states. If you can just expand on that for us, please.
Which is a very significant achievement, Thabiso, because this is a demonstration of the alignment of the agricultural chief scientists from the member countries around these priorities that South Africa presented. And this is this declaration, or communique now, is what is going to be contributing to the work of the ministers that, who have to develop their own declaration, but now they have a solid foundation informed by the work of agricultural chief scientists. And maybe just to add a little bit of information for the listeners, that This is an initiative of the ministers which started back in 2012.
Yeah.
So and it was thought by the ministers that we do need to bring in scientists into our conversation to make sure that these decisions that we are taking are indeed supported, by the thinking from a research perspective, from a science perspective. And that's what this is all about.
Let me tell you, one of the aspects that really impressed me is the University of Limpopo showcasing their, what they call, groundbreaking Moringa project to the G20 delegates, some of your colleagues. And I'm saying this because there was a time when in Limpopo, some academics were raising an issue of a disjuncture between universities and communities to a very large extent. But some of those academics were saying universities are supposed to blend into the communities where they are and also assist with research and all manner of things. And it was quite encouraging to see the University of Limpopo saying, we've got this product in our province, Moringa, and this is what we are doing with it.
Absolutely, Thabiso. And because this story is really incomplete without us, bringing in some of, sharing some of the locally developed, technologies and work that is generated through, local science. And this was actually preceded by us showcasing through the provincial department some of the work of local farmers. So we had selected, with the assistance of the province, of course, a couple of local farmers that shared their stories, their work before the delegates were taken to the university to demonstrate to them that this is what is happening, this is what South Africans are working on, and particularly the Limpopo province being, the University of Limpopo being one of those universities that, as you have, reflected on the history of the university, that when you have this kind of, achievements, it is a very good opportunity to really place them at this global stage to showcase some of their work. So we are very pleased with that.
Now, a farmer may be listening and thinking, it sounds like an important stage, important issues being discussed, but what about me as a farmer? To what extent will this knowledge trickle down to a person like me in the next coming days, weeks, or months?
Absolutely, Thabiso. So this story, and that's part of the reason we had some of our farmers showcasing their work, because whatever technologies are being developed, whatever conversations are being had by the scientists from the various member countries, have to respond to the challenges on the ground. And when we develop collective solutions, we are going to be sharing knowledge together to benefit our local farmers. And of course, the countries have different contexts. But what is important is that for us as South Africans, what do we take from the knowledge that is being shared at the platform that is going to benefit our farmers? So for us as the Agricultural Research Council, it adds to some of the work that we are indeed, already busy with, working with industry in South Africa, working with provincial departments from a capacity development perspective and development of some of the technologies to make sure that we extend them to the farmers, because that is the primary client, Thabiso.
What impressed you most about this gathering?
Well, I think there are a number of things that stood out from the gathering, and as we had some of the delegates, this was first of all a very well organized gathering that allowed space for all the countries. It was the way it was handled, first of all, for all the member countries and their representatives that supported almost 100% what was tabled by the South African team. All the themes that were put together by the team and tabled to the chief agricultural scientists was well received, and there was a support, or well-round support for these themes. That's the first thing. The second thing, of course, is the fact that we then had a communique, and we are told, as we understand, that this has been one of the challenges that faced previous meetings of agricultural chief scientists. And we are pleased that South Africa, we were able to negotiate for our themes to be widely adopted, of course, with some input from the various members to come through. But it was just a general sense of what we even felt, Thabiso, must be the spirit of Ubuntu, which we led with as we talk about South Africa, this being the first meeting of agricultural chief scientists, not only on South African soil, but on the continent. Everybody was very proud of the fact that we were able to achieve what we achieved, and we achieved it within the timelines that were allocated for this meeting. So there are a number of good things that came through this, and we are looking forward to, because of the information and the knowledge that was shared, to continue with some of the collaborations that have developed out of this meeting. Some of the conversations that we had, where we are already talking with some of the partners about how to take the work forward, and co-create some of the research initiatives that are going to help us to advance agricultural science in each of the themes that have been identified.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for the insights. We really appreciate it, and we wish you well for the future, particularly as we are fast approaching the G20 summit.
Thank you very much for having me, Thabiso.
Thank you. There you go, Dr. Litha Makinga there, who's the CEO and president of the Agricultural Research Council.